Welcome to 2023 edition of Auroville Festival. This particular session is titled as City Conversations. And this year, Auroville Festival's theme is the first quality of Mother's symbol, sincerity, an apt reminder for the reason we are here. The 8 days of Auroville Festival are inspired by the four central petals of Mother's symbol, Maheshwari, Mahakali, Mahalakshmi, and Mahasaraswati. We aspire to use this occasion to look through the lens of sincerity and deepen our understanding of the four powers of the Mother and attempt to invoke within ourselves the echoing attributes. And today, the theme of today's discussion on city conversations is Matrimandir, because it's also Mother's birthday, this being 21st of February. And we have panelists who are associated with Matrimandir, and we will be having conversation regarding the aspirations, the dream, the how, and the very practical practicable aspects of Matrimandir. I invite now Nilima to introduce our panelists, and we take it forward from there.
Thank you. So we have today with us Aryamani. Aryamani came to Auroville in 1979. She was a modern and creative dance teacher. Along the years, she participated in the fields of education, culture, and different services in Auroville. For the last 18 years, she has been putting on stage Sri Aurobindo's play and Savitri, as well as now translating Sri Aurobindo's works into Portuguese. We then have Divya. Divya is one of the 5 executives of the Matrimandir team. She was educated in the ashram school, and in the initial years of Auroville, she was here for 10 years, and then now she's been here again for the last 8 years. We have Shrimoy, who's also part of the Matrimandir team. And she wanted a very short and sweet introduction, so welcome all of you. We'll also shortly have Gino joining us. He's just caught with some work, but he's on his way. And Gino is currently working on documenting the Matrimandir, its progress and maintenance, and he's also looking at creating the history of Matrimandir through his channel, Matrimandir Journal. Gino is an artist who likes to work with and also teach through geometry. And he believes that this way of working with geometry is about aligning oneself. And his experience of the structure of the Matrimandir and its gardens, he experiences this alignment, which brings it all alive for each one of us. So that's what he will be speaking about. So welcome everybody, and thank you.
Thank you, Nilima. This year's, as I said, theme is sincerity, and we also have a theme for the day. And today's theme is wisdom. Let me begin by reading out a small passage. Maheshwari is the power that can awaken in our soul and our nature the divine truth, and it is to her we may address our aspiration for all-encompassing knowledge and wisdom, laying at her feet our ego, abandoning ourselves to the Supreme, so that we may, little by little, develop the first inklings of wisdom. In this session, we shall discuss the role and purpose of Matrimandir in Auroville and its effect on the residents. So through this conversation, what I would like to explore is the collective and the individual aspect of Matrimandir. It is a collective space for individual concentration. And I would like to understand why such a space for concentration when the inner work is to be done through outer work. And I would also like to know from you what Mother saw and how it evolved, the structure, design, etc. of the Matrimandir, the 12 gardens, the lake, so on and so forth. And also I would like to know the immediate challenges that you face as Matrimandir team in terms of land, how to implement the lake, and the remaining gardens, and what are the approaches that you have planned to make sure it is implemented. So these are the broad themes I would like to touch in a very brief session of just 1 hour. I hope you are ready for the challenge, and I invite first Aryamani to begin this session.
Thank you, Lasha. For me, to talk about Matrimandir is to talk about the city. I cannot dissociate these two. And for me, this is one of the misconceptions that you may have, because you see Matrimandir as another isolated thing. Then, if it is isolated, it becomes a temple. And in fact, Matrimandir have to be seen on the context of Auroville, because it is the soul of Auroville. It is the center, it is the spirit, it is the charger of Auroville. And so the difficulty of that is because Matrimandir is there, is standing, beautiful, and this quality, this perfection. And the city, I mean, the body is not there to accommodate, to receive, to house the soul. And in fact, we consider Matrimandir nowadays as a big building, But if you imagine the future, when you are going to have, all the line of forces and the high buildings, Matrimandir will be protected, will be small, will be seen completely different, because it will be like I said before, protected. You'll be surrounded by much larger and taller buildings. So we have the Matrimandir as a jewel, in the center of the city. So, and if you achieve that of integrating these two in such a way that you don't see Matrimandir anymore as a temple, but is a soul, is this energetic power that is radiating to Auroville and to everywhere. So this very powerful instrument of the Mother to our transformation, our collective transformation.
How would you describe Matrimandir, Srimoi?
The Matrimandir is all about the mother. Whoever comes there, if they remember, this is the mother's place. And whatever we do there, we have to keep that in mind. So whether we come there for concentration or we come there to just be in the garden or to offer an artistic presentation, it has to be for the mother and for nothing else. And as long as we keep that in mind and as long as we do that or be there in that spirit, the atmosphere of the Matrimandir will be something very pure, very beautiful, and what it should be. And this is the main thing about Matrimandir. And everything, whether if we make a garden, it has to be an offering to the mother. If we make a lake, it is the offering to the mother. How we go in is for the mother. What we receive from her is from the mother. It's the mother, mother, mother in everything. And that's what is the most beautiful thing about Matrimandir. And that's what gives us the most joy and love for the place.
Thank you. That's very sweet. How would you look at the offering towards the mother, Divya?
Yeah, it's all that we do, it has to be just feel her. Just to feel her there. It's it's her, and it's only her, whatever we do. Normally, we have a very ambitious plan, our 4-year plan. Matrimandir is the soul of Auroville. It's not separate from it. And when we came, the first thing I noticed was what we did there, it immediately got reflected into the city. It first happened there, and then it got reflected into the city. So it's very crucial. Mother has said that Auroville is the city that the world needs, and Matrimandir is the soul of Auroville. And she says that the sooner we build it, it is good for everybody, and especially for the Aurovillians. And we have taken 50 years, and we have just have the Matrimandir, but she says that unless all the gardens are made, Matrimandir is not complete. And the peace area and the park of unity, this is not complete unless the lake is there. It cannot have that peace. And it's she. We cannot make a lake which is 10 meters deep, a kilometer long, and 100 meter wide. We cannot. Even in last December, we were minus in Matrimandir. We need 100 crores just to make the lake. And even with there are so many trees. There is this green tribunal which is there. There's so much. But it's mother's dream. It cannot fail. And she works through us. As soon as we remember that she is working through us, we are nothing but her instrument, the things just start happening. It's just being connected to her and let her pass through. And this is our offering. We are nothing but her. As we forget and we become nothing and let her pass, that's the only time that something happens in Matrimandir.
Okay. Yes, would you like to come to the stage here? So that it's for the camera and the viewers. There are also live audience.
There's an empty chair.
Would you like to?
Hello?
Yes.
It works?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So why is the Matrimandir? Now, the transformation of consciousness depends entirely on that divine consciousness force that dominates all existence. And Sri Aurobindo's philosophy is not sectarian, because he has not preached for any sect. He is targeting the world, the humanity. And humanity also needs this mediating force between the divine and the individual. So the divine consciousness force that dominates all existence, and he adds that it is difficult for the weakest mind to follow it, and the freest and most vast intelligence. So it is beyond our capacity to judge what she is. But if we can be in her consciousness, a little of it even, because the entire yoga depends on this transformation, and this transformation is impossible. As if you see the last sentence of the mother, his small book, which Premananda Kumar has called The Life Divine in Miniature. If you see the last sentence, it speaks all. Without the mother, the supramentalization cannot be possible on earth, and human unity is impossible without that. So the Matrimandir, as she has rightly pointed out, it is not a temple, but it is something like that. You may call it the entire concentrated force of the mother inside. And the purpose is to help the entire humanity not just a particular sect. Well, Auroville may be in India may be controlling things, but the place is for the world and for the transformation of human consciousness, not the consciousness of the Indians only. So the mother belongs to humanity, not to the Indians. This has to go inside everybody. And in Christianity, Mother Mary is a channeling grace. She is a mediating force. So there is a school called Mariology in Christianity. And all Mariologists believe that Mary is a channeling grace. So the concept is there. And I believe it is also in those religions which are very stubborn, which hide the fact, or the priests have concealed. I think in every religion the concept of the mother is there. And Sri Aurobindo makes it a wide thing to be accepted by the humanity. That's all.
So sweet. That's, by the way, Gautam Goshalji. He's our governing board member of Auroville Foundation. Thank you for that note. Okay, so I'm going to ask you certain question as if I'm not an Aurovillian and I knew nothing about Matrimandir. I would like to know from what you said, it's an offering for the mother. Naturally, the question that arises in my mind is entire Auroville is an offering to her. It's not just the Matrimandir or the peace area. So when you are working there, what sets you apart rather than working for any other aspect of? Welcome, Gino.
And people who go into the Matrimandir, they see it as a powerhouse. She has put so much of her consciousness into it. So it becomes very important at this moment when the world and Auroville, we are passing through a period which is so difficult, to really put all of our energy and try to finish it as fast as possible. And it is not finished until all the gardens are finished and the lake is finished. The beauty of it will only come out once the lake is there. And that is why it is so important to offer and to be there. It becomes the love of your life. You can't think of anything else. It's so strong.
Okay. So the Matrimandir will be the soul of Auroville. She says a place for trying to find one's consciousness. When we say Matrimandir, it's not just one structure, like you said, Aryamani. It's that energy source. But then we also have banyan tree, which is the geographical center of Auroville. And then we have an amphitheater, 12 gardens. So what are the significance of that Matrimandir complex apart from just the temple, which is not a temple?
Yeah, what we refer to, they are at the center of Auroville, at the oval.
The oval of
It's the oval of
Matrimandir,
Matrimandir.
the peace area.
Yeah, the peace area, Park of Unity. We have Matrimandir, the banyan, and the amphitheater. And the three of them are in different levels, have enormous significance for Auroville. And when I say Auroville, just for following what he said, so Auroville is that. Auroville is both a prototype and an archetype of human aspiration for this ideal city. And the ideal city has this soul. So having the amphitheater where Auroville was inaugurated is extremely symbolic, with the soil from different countries. Then you have this banyan that the mother pointed to be the geographical center of Auroville, and having the Matrimandir itself. And this area this park is so unique. I mean, this atmosphere, this silence, this beauty is something that you have the impression that it holds the city together. You know? It's something that sustains us from within. And I believe that one day, I mean, when the city will be built with the beauty, with the same level of beauty of Matrimandir, because it cannot be less than that one day, I think it will be something extremely, we cannot even describe. It will be really a cradle of this new society that Shrobindo's envisaged. You know? And I would like only to complete what Nivas said about your previous question about work and the Matrimandir. You see, for me, I think it's a work for Matrimandir because, I mean, to be there for me is a privilege, just to be there. I don't need even to go to the chamber, but being in this atmosphere of Matrimandir is something that is, it works on you. And in fact, to be in Auroville is to work for her. Either Matrimandir or being here or wherever. To be in Auroville is to dedicate your life to the mother. Each one of us is an instrument for this to be materialized. And this is the joy of being here, it's the joy of working at Matrimandir, it's the joy of serving her.
Gina, I'm going to come to you. Before that, I will ask one question to Srimoy. Srimoy, she just touched upon the inner chamber. And then we also have 12 petals on 12 qualities of mother. How would you describe the difference between a place for concentration in the petals versus inner chamber?
Very spiritual question. So I'm afraid I'm not up to the level where I can say, well, it means this and that means that. But when you go to the inner chamber, you feel this space. Everyone experiences the inner chamber in their own way. It's their relation to the mother. And it's difficult to describe it, but you feel this presence there of this force. And then, of course, depending on the individual, I have a lot of, let's say, one-way conversation over there and questions and things like that. And because I don't manage to concentrate for very long. And in the petals, they have been given a name, a color, and they have a very specific atmosphere. For example, at one time, Matrimandir had to be closed for some renovation for about 3 months. So they opened at that time the first petals, the first 2 petals, which were peace and equality. And I remember we were all called, the peace petal is ready, let's all go, and we do all together. And we all trooped in, about 20 of us. This must have been 15 years ago or something. And we all sat in that peace petal, and it was just amazing. And I'm not someone given to feeling things and, seeing things, subtle world, this, that, no. But it was a very palpable experience in the body. And it was very, it was like, must have been peace. I imagine it was peace. It just felt so good. It just felt so good to be there, and you felt it in the body. And that was the closest, I think, you go there and you sit, you have nothing else on your mind, and you just suddenly start to feel this. And this I felt in the peace petal when it was first opened. And we were 20 of us sitting in that small space, all the, all my colleagues and me. So this is the difference, whereas in the inner chamber it is like you feel the presence of the universal mother, or at least her feet are there, big enough to, not even. So this is, but I would like to answer a question you asked her. What is the difference between serving the mother at Matrimandir or outside? Well, in principle there should be no difference. But at the Matrimandir you have the added joy of seeing a physical beauty being manifested through the gardens and in the lake in the future, and she describes it, and I have faith in her vision. I see that it's going to be something very beautiful. So I feel very excited, very enthusiastic. Let's do it. It will be something very beautiful. I have no doubt. And I feel the same way about the city. She was not somebody who would have the vision of something ordinary, no. You see it in the Matrimandir. The Matrimandir took 36 years to build because of all our doubts. We doubted, but this may not be so good. There were discussions, but finally it happened, and we see the result, and it is very beautiful. So the added pleasure or joy is the beauty. So we should start adding beauty into the city, and that beauty will come when we build the city and we put the gardens and the trees and the parks and the beautiful buildings and a city, but with a difference. And this difference is her vision. You see, so that's what I have to say.
Thank you. Gino, we are in the first phase, just touching upon the aspirational aspects of Matrimandir and its multiple facets. So before others have touched upon the other aspects, I would like to come to you on the lake. What do you think is the need for the lake? It's actually on the ridge, so it's technologically a challenge. Yet we are pursuing it for some aspirational quality. What is that in your view?
Well, first of all, let me explain to everybody that my connection with Matrimandir started when I felt the need for documenting it. So this has been going on for a few years, this wish to document it. And I couldn't find anybody to support me technically with the cameras. And then recently, only summer 2022, Auroville Media Interface was created, and they asked me if I wanted to join and help, and I said yes. And immediately I expressed my wish to document Matrimandir. So this is how I started. I walked in Matrimandir early mornings with a phone first, and I didn't know what I was going to film. And then I noticed the lake was going on, the excavations, and so this is where I started. I started following the lake. Now, I can tell you what I hear. The beauty for me to work in the Matrimandir, one of the beauties, is that I don't have to be taking decisions. I don't have to be part of any decision making. I don't have to object or accept a decision. I'm just there to watch and to document it. And so I just take in what is going on, and I admire it. I see the challenges. At the same time, I have faith that it's going to work.
Yeah.
Sometimes it looks totally impossible, but then it materializes, and I enjoy that. So I hear that the lake might be able to provide the water, the drinking water, the water for Auroville in the future. That's one thing that I hear. There is also for sure a symbolic meaning behind it. Like there are many symbols around the whole of Matrimandir. Matrimandir as a whole is a symbol, but then there are many different symbols. And I can't comment on them because there are so many and there are so few that I discovered myself. The first time that I saw the first symbol that struck me was many, many years ago, when I was not working in Matrimandir. I was not even a newcomer, I was a guest. And Matrimandir was, the actual globe was basically covered in scaffolding. They were taking down the discs, they were going to replace them, there was some, and I mean, it looked like something that wasn't going to happen. It looked like something too difficult to achieve. And now you can see how it's going. And I couldn't understand the meaning of it. This golden golf ball, at that time some people were saying. But then one day, walking in the gardens, I saw this the Matrimandir, and it struck me. I said, "This is the sun. This is the sun emerging from the ground." So there are symbols which talk to you. Now, Matrimandir is an exceptionally amazing work in the architecture concept, aspect. But it is also a work of art. Obviously, it's art. It's not just a structure. And one of the main goals of art is to communicate something divine to humanity. The artist thinks that I express myself through art. Yes, there is an element of self-expression, but ultimately it is not the artist expressing itself through art. It is something much bigger expressing itself through the artist. So the Matrimandir is actually full of messages and symbols and things. So this is what I see. Okay. I don't know what the exact final goal of the lake is, but
perhaps fill it up with water.
Yes, for sure. And there are many challenges. There are the challenges of the water evaporizing. There are so many how to keep the water clean. There are so many challenges. But the same lake is attracting wildlife.
Yeah.
It has already some fishes were introduced, aquatic plants, but now there are some water snakes and different type of birds
already
attracted there. Yeah.
Okay. So.
I don't know if I'm talking too much. I wanted to say something about the geometry of Matrimandir.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that. Okay, so now I would like to a little bit move towards the practical, the challenges that you're facing individually. That you're in your line of work in Matrimandir. What is the key challenge? Is it a land? What is the biggest challenge? If you have to say, count each one of you top 2 challenges for Matrimandir team, what would that be? Would you like to begin?
No.
So many challenges.
There's so many challenges. So you have to now say 4 because she is skipping.
I think the biggest challenge, as always, is the human aspect, the challenges of human nature, and also that is ourselves, the people who work there, all our human nature which comes out, and we have to deal with that. We have to overcome the difficulties, and one of the difficulties is that a lot of people don't understand what is the vision of Matrimandir. And there's and the third one is the pressure from the outside world to on Matrimandir, as they see it as a tourist spot. So the first one is, how our attitude towards Matrimandir, what it has to be. The second one is that the policy, let's say the access policy to Matrimandir for visitors is based on mother's guidelines. Now, this is something that people don't understand. For example, just to give one example, what mother says, the first condition for anyone to come to Matrimandir is that they ask. But what we normally face is that people want to bring somebody to Matrimandir. No, they may not have asked to come. So this is, and they mean it in a good way because they had a very good experience. So they want a family member or a friend or whoever, somebody close to them, to come and have the same or similar experience. But from what I understand, this is not how it works with the divine. It is each one's own relationship to the divine. And they come when they have a call from within to come there. This is how I have understood also in my education in the ashram. That it's each one separate. That's why it's a place for individual concentration.
Related to that, I have one question. How do you then look at the events which happen there? For example, recently Krishna Das performed there. So is that something that you consider as people coming there from Matrimandir? How do you then take decision upon that?
Well, let's keep the Krishna Das event because that's a question mark. We are not very clear about that. But usually we have a policy for anyone who wants to perform in the Park of Unity. We apply is that the first condition is that this person, whether it's an Aurovillian or a great artist or exponent from outside, they ask to come and they want to make an offering to the Universal Mother. That's it. It has to be only that. And then everything is beautiful. When it is sincerely that, it's very beautiful. It creates a beautiful atmosphere. It's all about creating that atmosphere. Even if there are not hundreds and hundreds of people, even if there are 200 people,
Yeah.
but you create, or even 50, you create that magic.
Yeah.
And that is more important than thousands of people and the atmosphere goes down.
Yeah, we totally align with you. See,
Yeah.
we don't believe in numbers. Yeah, Divya. What
No,
do you
I think I can also.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
What is the same question?
No, is the challenges that you feel are for Matrimandir right now at present? To physically manifest with students?
I believe that the greatest challenge of the Matrimandir is the Matrimandir itself. Because the presence of the Matrimandir is demanding. It demands from us to be at this level. It's a reminding from us every moment when you look at Matrimandir that this is a call to us to be at that level. And as somehow we do not manage very well to be at that level, we try to bring that level a bit down. We try to bring that to our level. No? And then, but then you have this, but it is true that Matrimandir is something that we, as Auroville residents and people that come or visitors, there is something at the Matrimandir that we are not yet there. It's like something that is above us. Or for the moment, somehow beyond our reach, you know, that it's very beautiful because we know that.
Yeah.
That's why the joy of being there, the call that Matrimandir is for all of us, so people that come, so because unconsciously we are attracted for that. It's like the future, you know, something that is calling us in spite of ourselves. You know? And one thing that I'd like to add regarding your previous question about the petals is something that I observed is, and maybe this one day also, is to, you see, when you realize one quality, we have all. In fact, there are not 12, there are one. So to realize sincerity, we have to have courage, we have to have humility, we have to have goodness, we have to have all to come to one.
Just sincerity won't do.
No,
just kidding. I
it is,
understand.
of course, but
Yes.
when really
Yes,
you feel
it's
that
not just
this
one.
sincerity,
Yes.
first you have to be courageous.
Absolutely.
You have to have courage.
Each are interrelated in a way.
Even each one of them is related to the other. So in fact, it is this one.
The integral aspect.
Yeah, it's the integral thing that Matrimandir condenses. Then you come to the inner core of the
Inner.
Matrimandir like one. You know, this surrounding Matrimandir with the petals of these qualities, it's like they evolve and they condense and they come together and then they create this one thing that is the center of Matrimandir.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Gino.
See, the difference between the petals and the chamber, the inner chamber,
Yeah. Also
is
come
that-
back to the challenges also.
is that the experience of the chamber starts when you're already taking the stairs from downstairs. You enter, you put your socks, and then you go up on this spiral, and then higher and higher, and then eventually you enter this big room.
Yeah.
So that's the experience is the whole experience, whilst the petals you're already there. And I would like to share with you something that happened to me recently. So we had this film crew, 3 people, that were making a documentary on Roger and Jay architecture. And so they were filming at Matrimandir, and they had the permission to go up at the chamber, which is highly unusual. And Auroville Media Interface asked me if I could follow them, if I could help them and assist them, and so I did. And so we were filming a lot between when you put the socks, the white socks, and before you enter the actual chamber. In that area, we filmed a lot. We were filming and refilming, and for me, it was a totally different experience than the usual, walking all the way up and then sitting. And then we couldn't talk loud because we couldn't talk even normally because the echo is such that you couldn't understand each other. If you had to whisper. And so the whispering and being in that space, but then you're not going to meditate in the chamber, you are working, and it's a very strange feeling. I tell you, it was a touching experience, different from the meditation, but yet also unique. So I just wanted to share it with you because it's...
And quickly, you want to touch upon the geometry?
The geometry, I try to say it quickly, okay?
Yes.
So a long time ago, I learned, many years ago, I learned how to paint watercolor. In watercolor. So I've been painting since I was a kid, painting, sketching. But then at some point, I met a master of watercolor. And I was teaching him percussions, and so he wanted to give me something back. And he didn't know that I could paint. Mm-hmm. And he showed me some geometrical exercises done with watercolor. And he told me, this is a gift I'm giving you. This is a tool for you to center yourself whenever you need. And you can also learn how to paint in watercolor. You don't need a teacher. That if you follow these geometrical exercises, you will learn. And so I learned these geometrical exercises. They're quite sophisticated. They're not so simple. Some are simple, some. And then I continued by myself, and I realized that it's true. If you do these exercises, it centers you. It's like a visual meditation. It's very powerful. Actually, I should be doing it again because I haven't practiced in a long time. But anyway, but then he explained to me, if you have a beautiful, sincere painting done by a sincere artist in your living room, wherever it is, and you see it every day, regularly, whether it's geometry or not, that painting is going to have a very strong effect on you, very calming, very centering. And he calls it, it's a passive meditation. So you're not aware, you're not working on it, it's just there, and it affects you. Now, there is another one, which is partially passive, but it's not totally passive. It's the geometry, the beauty of a garden, of Matrimandir. When you walk, I notice that when I walk in Matrimandir regularly, in this path, which they're not just made by chance, they're geometrically shaped correctly. And it has an effect, it has a very strong effect, centering effect on me. And so there are quite a few people that come and walk around the gardens regularly, but not everybody does it.
Yeah.
Now, the galaxy, the Crown Road, the galaxy, etc., it is a continuation of this geometrical, esoteric design. And it is a continuation. Imagine you not even knowing, you're taking your scooter, your bicycle, you're walking, whatever vehicle you're using, you're going around this geometrical shape, what effect it has on you and on everybody. And this is what has the power to bring us together.
Yeah. If you can quickly touch upon you were covering the lake. And the lake at present is a test lake. We call it as a test lake.
It's a
narrow lake that we have built right now. In reality, it's going to be much wider, much deeper.
Much wider.
So you have any understanding of what are the present challenges? What are the challenges regarding water management?
So,
yeah.
Sure. I mean...
Okay, sure, please. Yeah.
Yes. So actually, two challenges. One is the garden. Because the gardens are not like anything else in the world. We have beautiful gardens all over the world. But here, the challenge is that each garden it has a name, and when we go there, it should represent that. We should be able to feel that. So if it is a power, we should feel the power of beauty. If it is light, we should feel the light. This is the challenge, that you have to have it inside you. You should be able to experience that and to get to that level. So as we evolve, the gardens will keep evolving. They will keep changing. But they have to represent the name that is given to them. So that is a very big challenge. That thing has to happen in us. We have to realize, then only we can have those gardens. Then lake. This Harold Croft had come to Matrimandir maybe I think
2003.
25 years ago or something like that, and he said it's not possible. There cannot be. There is not so much of water. You cannot have a lake there. And mother, she was very much aware that about the water, that there was no water, and still she said that Matrimandir is surrounded by water, and she also says lake. And she also talks about desalination plant or something like that. And the water represents life. And then, but he says there is, mother says that there is water. It depends on the ingenuity of the Aurovillians to find it. Then this Mr. Croft, he goes away for about 10 years to China, and he builds their dams and lakes, and he does a lot of work. And after that he comes back and he said, how did mother know that there was enough rainwater to fill the lake? He comes with how did mother know at that time that it was possible? And it is absolutely on at the highest point of Auroville. And she said that from there, the water coming around, it can fill the lake. And that from there to feed the whole of Auroville is so easy because it is as the highest of Auroville. So this is something amazing. And we have to find it. This is the challenge. She said it depends on the ingenuity of the Aurovillians to find the water. So this is a challenge. This is for us to build it, to find the water and believe. So
Yeah.
I always say our work is not to question whether it can be or it cannot be. Our question is also how to get it done. I never question something which is there. It's not whether we should do it, whether we should not do it, whether there be water, oh this is not possible, it's not practical, this and that. Our work is how to do it. That's how.
Beautiful. So I'm going to take a cue from what you said right now, that rather than asking the why to do it at all, we just ask ourselves how to do it. Like you said, how do we reach the high standards set by Matrimandir? And in that regard, it's been a year or so since the lake is almost ready. What has been your, no, not yet? So what has been your experience with it? No, few months. So what has been your experience with the rate of evaporation, and what are the, how do we creatively find solutions, innovatively find solutions?
Shall I answer?
Yeah, please.
So normally the experiments have gone on for 20 years. We have made many. We have made 3 small ponds,
Right.
with a different way of seeing, and we saw that this HDPE liner, that was the best. The least evaporation happened with that being in place.
HDPE is a
High density.
high density.
Yes.
It's a lining that you
Yes,
have given
yes.
at the bottom of the
Yes.
lake.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, it's very interesting. Everybody was shouting, there's no water, and we were building the first section of the lake. We were digging. We were just digging the first section of the lake, which was 100 meter wide and 100 meter long and 10 meter deep. That was the first section. So up for now, it's not the whole lake which is built. It's just the one section which is built half. So, that's where we are for the moment. So there was in Auroville, everybody was saying no water, it's not possible. They were making plays like Tanile. There was even a play that was staged here, and it rained like anything. It rained so much when they said Tanile is no water. They had made a play on no water and they were staging it here. And it rained like anything. And it was, and it rained so much that year that all our petals were flooded. They came up to, so we couldn't even dig it. And we needed to finish this part of the lake before the monsoon came in. And we could not dig it because the water level had come so much up. We take it out and the water would come back. It was such a challenge to do that. There was so much of water. But then we managed. We managed to dig it. And then there was this liner to be put. And we thought that rain was about to come. And it was just holding on. And we said there was a person who had come from Germany for a month. And we were working day and night, literally, shift by shift to finish it because it was so late for us to dig it. The monsoon was just there. It could rain any time, and if it rained, then it's finished. We would not have been able to do it at all.
Yeah.
And we would have lost crores of rupees.
Oh.
It was amazing. So we did it. There's only the 5-meter Lego blocks which are there. Then we finished the HDPE pipe. We finished the whole thing. And when we managed to finish it, 3 days after it rained.
Okay.
And there's one very interesting fact about this year is also that the rain, it was flooded in Chennai and all, and we had to have water not more than 5 meter. Because our Lego blocks and our this thing were only for 5 meter. And it remained 4.5, where in Chennai and everywhere it was flooded. So the miraculous thing is that happens every day is, I mean, it's almost kind of, if we choose to look, it's a norm.
We were
Okay.
prepared also for that, for the increase. So what
Okay.
happened?
Wait, Gino. I need to go to other topics also. So, are you happy with the experiment of lake? Are you happy with the way it is progressing? Very happy. Okay.
Very happy.
I would like to bring you your attention to the next challenge, which I think is very important also, the land, which is missing for the Matrimandir peace area. Srimoy, would you like to say that how much is missing right now and what are your plans?
No, I don't know.
I'm very bad with figures, but
You can give a rough figure.
a lot is missing.
A lot is missing.
Not a lot. I'm sorry, I don't have the figures, but
Okay.
it's something like
Say 5 acres or more.
in the city area.
No,
I heard-
just the peace area. I'm saying just for the Matrimandir right now.
Okay, so part
there-
of the Park of Unity has the Perambok land
Okay.
on it. I mean, it is built on Perambok land.
Okay.
So that has to be solved. There, I think some work is going on in that line.
All right.
And the lake, where the lake will come, and the reception pavilion, these are still not been acquired. And
So according to the plan, wherever the lake is to come, and there is a reception pavilion, which is perhaps the line of goodwill. It's
Yes,
also falling
yes.
at the end
Yeah.
part, right?
Yeah.
So there you are saying the land is missing.
yeah, there it's still under negotiation, and we don't want to talk about it. Let's see how things go. We are trying our best, and
Okay.
it will happen. We have faith that some solution will come.
Okay. And in terms of other aspects of Matrimandir, like you said, Matrimandir in itself is a challenge, Arimani, and I see that few of the gardens are yet not finished. So how do you go about getting the gardens designed? So what are your usual practice? How do you reach up to that level? Okay.
This is a very personal opinion. I believe that regarding the garden, we are not yet there. We are very far from what Divya mentioned, of this garden that will awaken you the force that it is there. If it is, we have Satchitananda, for example, that is how we can manifest Satchitananda in a physical plane. So we can only have, mental concept, unless you have a real experience real vision of it is, because it's consciousness, existence, and bliss.
Existence, bliss.
So this is Satchitananda. How we can deal with that? No, that we. So we are doing attempts, no. But when I walk there, or I mean, not that I'm particularly, how to say, capable
Receptive.
of identifying, but for me we are far from that. But it's on the way. I mean, people are trying, and as long as we are trying, one day we will achieve. But when you look at it now, I think we are a bit far from what should be one day. At the level of Matrimandir, completing this kind of initiation that we started the garden, and go petals, and then this ascension towards the Matrimandir, and all the levels, and coming to the mother's chamber. So this is an initiation. So it has to be one day, every element of this path should be at this level. But for the moment, I think we are.
Okay, related to this, I have a question. The more we are going away from the era of mother, the more are the introduction of, organizational aspects and calcification of groups and things like that. In that,
I beg to differ. The era of the mother never ends.
Wonderful, I stand corrected.
It is Mother's Day every day.
Okay, so in this new organizational way, is it only a realm of architects and landscape designers? And this is something which, like you said, it's how do you really manifest Satchitananda as a garden? And this has something, it's not just about right kind of training, technical training, right? So is there a scope in your Matrimandir team? How do you find that kind of, how do you reach that kind of, how do you capture that essence? No?
Can
So
I
do you
say-
find this organizational grouping of Matrimandir team an impediment towards that?
No, I won't say impediment. What I think is that we are not yet there ourselves. So I think that none of us has this vision or this knowledge or this vastness to visualize what it can be.
Yeah.
I think we are not yet ready for that.
Yeah.
But this is very personal. No?
Yeah.
I mean, it's me.
Yeah.
And I'm talking my name. And I respect, the attempts. When I see some of the existing proposals, I respect. It is an effort, it is an attempt, it is something to reach. But I don't feel that it is there.
Okay.
I have a way of looking at it. You see, these are the things Mother has put forward for us. These are challenges she's putting to her children. And this is not the ultimate garden. And we are not the last Aurovillians,
Right.
This is a project for the millennium,
Right.
And there will be other Aurovillians will come. They will be more advanced. They will be more evolved. The gardens will evolve. They will have higher vision and higher inspiration. They will design more gardens, different gardens. It's going to be very beautiful. But the garden that you see is what we are capable of now.
Right.
So we start with that, with sincerity, with simplicity, with humbleness as an offering. And there will be others who will come and make more and more beautiful gardens.
I like your humility.
Yes.
Gino, quickly, and then we open up for a few questions.
Quickly, okay. So some years ago, about 7-8 years ago, when Matrimandir had still the office of the designers, somebody saw my watercolor exercises. They're not paintings, they are exercises, but some people like them. And this lady invited me, said, why don't you come and see if you can work with us designing the gardens? So for a few days, for a while, I went in the morning sitting with them. And I was very anxious to draw something. And then the main designer, Mark, at that time, he looked at my designs and said, all right, Gino, okay. And I was very anxious then he gave me something to read about each garden, the concepts and stuff. And I wasn't getting it. I mean, even if I read it, it was too much to read. And one day he said, He said, don't worry, come, I show you something. And he took me to a part of this office, and he showed me many models of gardens, models, like small versions, yeah? Beautiful. Some of them were really beautiful. And I looked at this, these are, some of them are, I like this one and I like this one. And Mark said, yes, this I made and that one. And these were all rejected. And I rejected most of them. And you know why? Because it is a responsibility. You cannot design your own ego garden. You have to design according to the principles dictated by Mother. So you have to be very careful, read carefully, and make sure you understand it, and then you try. So,
Congratulations.
I am actually glad that they're not finished, because if they're all finished, we would be making them in a hurry.
Yes. Thank you, Gino. So I would like to know if there are some questions to the panel. Or I can invite Gino to again make a... Okay. One quick remark from each one of you, and then I think we can close the...
I just want to say that we have to start doing the work. And it is the work that teaches us. It starts happening. Like the gardens also, things started happening, and there was light and power, and I just didn't like it. I said, the architects coming from outside and making this, and I was so unhappy with that, but we have to go on. I said, okay, praying at the same time to the Mother, and then Narad, who had been given the responsibility of the gardens by the Mother, who is the most knowledgeable in flowers, in everything, after maybe 20 or more years, he just turns up. And he made these two gardens, which would look like nothing, into something really beautiful. And with the significance of the flowers that the Mother has given. So for power, the power; for light, the light. Really, this is how it happens. It happens also for the lake. I didn't know how to go about it, because because I am pretty new. I have a gap of at least 35 years in between the initial time that I was there and then I come back. And then suddenly there's somebody called Yogan. He turns up, who has worked a lot with the disc, with the Matrimandir, and he has this energy and he's knowledgeable. He turns up. So these are the things which is there, and you go on. Like I was cleaning carpet in the Matrimandir. I had no clue. I had never cleaned a carpet. And it seems that the people from really all expertise had been there to find out how to take out black marks, fungus marks, which were coming. And since last 15 years, it was not found out. And I just went there and I started doing, and I found it. I'm so happy to say that how to take out those marks, which nobody could do it for 15 years. And finally, it was after a few days, it was something so simple. And so it comes if you are open. If you do it, I use Mother, teach me. Mother, work for me. Let me have it. If you're there, the work teaches you, and the right answer comes to you, and you implement.
Yeah, thank you, Divya. Gino, yes.
I wanted to say a few words about the challenges. The challenges are actually beautiful.
Yeah,
the
very
challenges.
quickly.
Can I say my word and go?
No, yeah, just quickly, and then we all wrap.
Yeah.
Matrimandir.
Yes, and we also have a planned walk. So,
Yes.
Gino.
Okay. So making, for me,
One sentence,
it
yes,
is a
quickly.
challenge to even document the Matrimandir, because I'm not an expert on technical things, on cameras and stuff. All my colleagues are geniuses compared to me. I'm very basic, but I'm learning. And the beauty of learning is amazing. It's beautiful to be learning everything. Even at 55 years old, I'm learning how to make movies and how to
Yes.
make sure. Yeah.
Yes.
If you want to watch some of the movies, the short movies that I make on the YouTube, they're called the channel is called Matrimandir Journal.
Oh, that's a nice plug. Thank you.
And they show you everything, how the challenges that we met and
Super. So, Srimoy, yes. Thank you, Gino.
Happy birthday.
Yes.
This is the mother's birthday. Let's have a beautiful evening.
Yes. Okay, I would like to close with this thought. Mother, who saw this inner chamber in a vision, regarded it as the central force of Auroville, the cohesion force of Auroville, and the symbol of the divine's answer to man's aspiration for perfection. So we every evening from 21 today to 28th, we are going to have a conversation related to the city. From tomorrow onwards, we will look at 4 zones of Auroville, and we will also look at the larger peace zone of Auroville and the green belt. And finally, on the 28th, we will finish off with the galaxy plan. I hope we will have a good conversation related to the city every day, and we hope you also join us. Thank you. Before you go, there is a small token of appreciation for you.
I can be sincere. I have to be sincere.
Yes.
I want to apply sincerity. I have to try to apply my sincerity. I have to somehow to clarify something, because Matrimandir attracts also different ways of looking at the things, no? And this power of the Matrimandir. And I believe that regarding the gardens, I don't know about who Mother gave in charge. So I have to say that very sincerely. And we cannot just close things saying that Mother gave to Narad the responsibility of the garden. So I have to contradict Divya, because this is not seen.
This one.
That I have to be sincere.
Thank you. That's the theme of this year's festival, sincerity. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being present.